Hi, welcome to Chris Cook for YouTube. Today I'm going to be doing a side dish, which is the way I do my corn and peas when I have it as a side dish. So I want to show you that, but I also want to show you, because I'm having that with chicken tenders, I'm going to show you just bits of that, how I do my chicken tenders as well. So let's get started. Here are the ingredients that you're going to need. You're going to need paprika, garlic powder, season all, and I use Morton's because the salt content is lower than if you use Lawry's. Salt and pepper to taste. You're going to need milk. I'll show you what I'm going to do with milk, and I have like a cup of milk in here. And you're going to need flour. And of course, I always put my flour in a bag. Now, I use chicken breasts when I make my chicken tenders. I don't buy my chicken tenders already pre-made. And I've already washed and I've already cut these up for the sake of time. So I'm just going to show you how it is that I do, because I left one just so I could show it to you. Now, I take my chicken breast, and if there's any additional fat, that runs along that line, I just go ahead and I clean that or cut that fat off. Then I take my chicken breast and I cut it on a diagonal. And in a bag of chicken breast for like $6, you can get normally 5 to 6 chicken breasts, and they're pretty healthy. So I cut this on a diagonal, and out of this, depending on the size that you make your strips, and I do my strips about an inch to an inch and a half. Sometimes if it's like one like this, I may cut it down and not. This one I'm just going to go ahead and leave it like it is. But this is the way I cut it, so they'll get a healthy portion of meat. Now, I've already washed this, and the only thing I want to do is to just show you how I do that part of it. So now I'm going to take all of the chicken breasts that I have in here, and I'm going to pour in my milk. Now, when you're making chicken strips, milk to me makes a better chicken strip than just, of course you're going to fry it, but once you put that milk in, I think it's just a little bit better chicken strip to me. Now, I'll take my flour, which I have a cup and a half of flour, and what I'm going to do, now you can season your chicken tenders by just sprinkle seasoning. If you do that, you're going to use less seasonings than I would use. But because I'm seasoning my flour and I'm doing everything together, my measurements are going to be a little bit more because I'm trying to season the flour, all of the flour that I have in the bag. Now, if you just season this on your own, you're not going to use as much seasonings as I'm using right now. So here I have my 1 tablespoon of season all. And of course, because that seasonal does not carry as much salt, I'm going to go ahead and use a half of teaspoon of salt. To that, I'm going to use a teaspoon of black pepper, a tablespoon of garlic, and that's only because I like garlic. Now, you can season yours with whatever it is that you want to season it with, but this is the way I do mine. And then I'm going to add a tablespoon of paprika. Now, I'm going to take all of those seasonings, and of course, I use a bag because I'm old school. I'm going to mix that together. And then I'm going to take, now like I told you, if you use milk on your chicken, you can taste the difference between milk and just regular putting on your seasonings and then putting on your flour and putting it over into the grease to cook it. You can taste a difference in it. So now that I have all of my flour in there, I'm going to take my chicken out of my milk wash, and I'm going to put it over in my bag. Now, you also don't have to use as much milk as I do. You do that according to how much chicken you actually have. If you have a small amount of chicken, that's fine. I cut like 6 strips on each one of these chicken breasts. I have 5 chicken breasts. So the 5 times the 6 strips each is going to give me 30 pieces of chicken tenders. And that's more than enough. And if you want to cut yours smaller, you can do that. If you want to cut yours bigger, you can do that as well. Now, I have all of my chicken in the bag. And And I'm going to go ahead and shake my chicken up. Okay. Now, this is the way your chicken should come out looking, your chicken strips. If you don't look like that, then you don't have enough flour on it. And you're going to get, if you don't put this much flour on it, it's going to be more like finger licking than actually crispy fried chicken. So that's ready. Now I'm going to meet you at the stove so I can show you how I do my side dish. Meet you at the stove. Okay, now I'm at the stove, and while I'm waiting on my grease to get hot on both levels, the grease in the back, the butter in the back is what I'm going to be cooking my corn in, and I only have like a tablespoon of butter in there, and that's really all that you need. And then I'm waiting on my grease to heat up so I can go ahead and drop my my chicken tenders. In this cup here, I have, this is my just household tablespoon, and in this I have roughly 3 tablespoons of flour, and this is my all-purpose flour. To that I'm going to add a half of a teaspoon of black pepper, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. Okay, now I cook this a lot at home, and some of you may do the same thing with this particular dish. You may have done this before, but this is a very good way to add versatility to some of the dishes that that your family has grown really accustomed to, and you look at them as being a common dish. This is a good way to add some versatility to that. Now I'm going to add 1 cup of water into this. And I'm going to mix this up. Okay. And in the beginning, you'll have a few lumps in it. I wouldn't worry about it because it's going to all be dissolved. Now, in this back skillet where I have my butter, I'm just going to run that around. Now, this dish calls for 3 cans of whole kernel corn, 1 can of green peas. Now, you can do this whereas you only add 1 can of corn and 1 can of green peas, depending on your family. My family likes corn more than peas, so I only add 1 can of peas and I do 3 cans of corn. So to this, I've drained these 3 cans of corn. I'm going to add them into the skillet that I have on the back of the stove. Okay. And like I told you, this cans of corn is already drained, and what's going to cook it is this flour milk water that I have over here, and the little bit of butter that I have down over inside of the skillet. Now you're going to put your corn in first because it takes longer for your corn to cook than it does for your peas to cook. Now you're going to cook your corn until maybe about 15 minutes before you add your green peas. Now I have in there my 3 cans of corn, and now I'm going to add my flour water that I showed you. Okay. To that, I'm going to add 1 more cup of water. Okay. Now I use this container because I might as well just get all of the little granules that was left from the flour water. Pour that over in. Now you're going to let this come up to a boil, and I'm going to show you every step of the way. Then I'll come back and I'll show you what it is that you will do next. Now, while that's cooking on that side, I have to remove some of this stuff. I'm going to remove this on the other side and see if it's, well, I can go ahead and drop my chicken. Now, I told you this in one of my earlier videos. I like to cover my chicken, fish, whatever it is that I'm cooking. I like to cover it with oil so that I can get a uniform brown color all over all of my chicken. If that's not the way you want to do it, that's fine. You can just do it in a skillet, and that will be fine. This is on a medium-high heat, and I'm going to show you every step of the way. Okay, this is going to take a little while to cook, and if you can look at this, you'll see that your boil it should sound just like rain. So as long as you get a boil that's sounding like rain, and when I say boil, you see how it's frying up, as long as that's sounding like rain, then your temperature is correct. So once this cooks, I'll be right back. Okay, now we're back, and I'm getting ready to take out my chicken, but I want to show you that my corn has started to kind of cream just a little bit, okay? But it's not, and you do have to constantly stir in the bottom of this to make certain that your dish is not sticking, okay? And all you're looking for is just a creamy type effect. Now, right now, I need to add just a little bit more water to that. So I'm going to step away and get some water. Because the corn is not cooked yet, okay? And this is about another half cup of water. The corn is not cooked yet. The only thing that is just my flour mixture. Okay, that's trying to thicken. Okay? So while that is down, now I will go ahead and take out my chicken strips. Okay. And spread them out. There you go. Now that's a healthy enough piece of chicken. You know, for 2 or 3 of them is really a meal. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of this chicken to my pot. So that it can fry up as well. Alright, now I just wanted to come back and show you exactly where we were in the cooking process. So I'm going to let this go ahead and cook. And as you can see, that is simmering slowly. And I've started to take out my chicken strips. So we'll get back to you as the cooking process continues. Okay, we're back, and I'm going to take out the rest of these chicken strips. Well, some more of them. Okay. And I'm going to put the last of it into my pan here. And I only have just a few more. Okay. Now, but I want to show you this corn. Okay. The corn is, if you can see, the corn has thickened. And so to the point that the corn has thickened, okay, I have to step away and get the peas. Now is the time for me to go ahead and to add the peas. Okay. Now it's not sticking, but as you can see, the juices on it has thickened up just a little bit. Okay. So now I'm going to add my peas. Now you don't have to do it this way. You can do more peas than corn. You can do equally amounts, but this is the way my family like it, and we like more corn than peas. And peas take less time than corn to cook. But you can see like a thick juice on it. See? And it's thickening up. Okay, now I'm going to allow this to go ahead and cook. And this should finish up the cooking process. And I'm going to let the finish of my chicken cook. And then when I come back, I'll show you the finished product. Be right back. Okay, I'm back and everything is cooked up. But I want you to hear this when I push this away. You're going to hear like kind of a little stick. Okay, you hear that? That's when you know it's really going to be good. All of my juices is almost cooked out. It's gotten down to whereas the corn and the peas are actually ready. So I'm going to cut this off. And this is my Saturday meal because it's quick and simple. Not a lot of work to it. I wouldn't necessarily, you know, I mean, I cook like this during the weekdays, but this is not a side dish that I would probably use on my Sunday. So I'm going to dish you up a plate just so you can see exactly how it works out to be. But see, your liquids are cooked out. You have a very limited amount of liquids left. And you just want a little bit of that I guess you could say cream sauce to kind of fit with the corn, because it adds a very good taste to the corn and to the peas mixture. So there it is. That's my Saturday meal. Chris is making chicken tenders. Well, you know, chicken breast, chicken tenders, and I'm doing a corn and peas mix, and that's what I have, or medley if you want to call that. And as always, I want to tell you thank you for watching Chris Cook for You Too. I want to remind you that I do have a book. All you have to do is go to my website, chriscookforyou2.net. Purchase my book. My sales are going very good. I appreciate everybody that has ordered from me, but I love you guys and there's nothing you can do about it. Bye.